Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check. Mic check, waifu, waifu. Telliano. Is that you?
Mic check with a review.
This is episode 282. That would have been perfect for it to be 282, but it's 283 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu is where you can get early access of the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story, is where you can get access to the pre-show to this particular episode and many other episodes prior. It's where you can get access to our commentary that we're going to be doing of episode 1 of Mic Check. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to do that. And many other exclusive video content. This podcast couldn't be here without the Patreon producer. Shout out to the Patreon producers, Christian the Archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk Podcast, Fear, Glaze Yams, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture, Explicitly, All for One Matt, Mazer, Altor, Monique Williams, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last but certainly not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. We appreciate y'all. Thank you. Oh, I can't forget T Money Fingers Echo. We appreciate y'all for supporting us at any tier on Patreon. It means the world to us, but especially shout out to the producers who keeps the lights on for us. We appreciate that. Now, this is a big episode because we are doing our fall wrap up episode, which means that we're going to cover everything that wrapped up in the fall, how we felt about it, what we watched entirely now, and we get to bring out our segment that was created by one of our producers, All for One Matt, All That Matters, where we pick one waifu and one husbando, if you will, for the fall season, our favorite characters of the fall season. Very interesting conversation of the fall, but before we get into that, Tel, how you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm great. I was just talking to Polow about how my family was here for the holiday season, although we don't particularly celebrate the holiday. It's always good to have family around. I'm a big family person. I love being around my family. So when they were here, it was a good time. The kids loved them, that kind of stuff. But I'm happy they're gone for the fact that, like, I'm on winter vacation. The kids on winter vacation. My wife done graduated.
I was getting to get to work.
Legit ain't got nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Legit, I ain't had nothing to do. Like to do for real in years. I've always had something to do every single day. So this feels like a legit vacation, bro.
For me, that's when I want to do stuff more, you know? Right. Because what happened was, for me, was I'm working right now. I decided to pick up a part-time job, and they decided to kind of oversaturate me with work because of my effectiveness, I guess, if you will. Mm-hmm. But I decided to go on demand now, which means that I'm basically on call, or I will be effective January 5th, which means that a lot less. But because of that, that means now I'm more motivated than ever to want to do actual work for this. What this is, you know, Mic Check Waifu Waifu, the other podcast that's coming soon, et cetera, et cetera. So that is what I'm excited for the most. I really am. I'm like I said, I'm more motivated than I've ever been to do that stuff. Now, before we get into that, I gotta ask, man. No, I gotta say, not ask. This is Mic Check Waifu Waifu, the anime podcast is brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. As I said, we're gonna be covering the fall season, but before we do that, it wasn't much. I have to ask because it's a part of the show. What was your episode of the week this week?
I know, the Amagami sisters.
Okay. Did they have a new episode?
Yeah.
Or were you behind? Yeah, you were behind. Okay.
Was I behind?
Yeah,
I thought I watched the latest episode.
You did probably, but that came out a week ago, so that was for last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I was behind. I literally thought I was up to date last week.
No. That's why I figured out. That's why I double checked. I'm like, wait a minute, and I saw it was an episode that I watched, and that was 2 weeks ago, essentially.
Okay. But no, I don't have one technically.
My episode of the week is Arifureta. I decided to catch up on it. I'm one episode behind because I'm watching the dubbed, and the dub is one episode behind. But holy shit, I fucking love the show, dude. I love the characters in the show. The juxtaposition between how I felt about it when it first came out to now is insane. Because I hated it at first.
That's true.
I truly did not like it. And then I gave it a chance. I sat through it. And the characters grew on me like fucking vines in a dilapidated house. I just love it so much now. Like, it's just a fun show. If you set aside the ridiculousness of it all, you just simply fall in love with the characters. There was one thing that happened in the episode before this one, or okay, episode 9 is where it's at. I'm on episode 8. I technically, why does it say one episode behind when there's episode 11 premieres? Weird. Okay, but I'm on episode, I think 10 actually. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, okay, no, I'm all caught up. Actually, I'm actually caught up. Okay, never mind. Forgive me. I guess the dub is caught up as well. But I digress. There's something that happens in the dub version that the bunny girl, her voice changes completely to somebody completely different, and then it changes back to her original voice, which is the strangest thing I've ever heard happen in a dubbed anime. Yeah. Because the person it changed to happens to be one of my favorite female voice actresses ever. But it was just a weird juxtaposition between her normal voice to going to my favorite actress and then going back to her normal voice. It was just the strangest thing I've ever seen. Was it because of the way they transitioned it? It was like just unnecessary? Or was it that way? It was clearly I think her name is Monica Ryle. Monica Ryle came in and did a fill-in for her up until about a certain point. And then at a certain point, it switched back to her original voice. Okay. Which was just so strange. It's so strange. But I digress. Anyway, before we get into the fall in its entirety, obviously we got the review of Demon Lord 2099 today. But there was one thing that released for the winter season that I think we should get out the way first. If you're a Patreon supporter, you heard the pre-show. So you know what I'm about to start doing, Till? What's that, brother? I'm about to start uploading a pre-show while we record. I wonder if that's gonna work. I'm gonna try it now. Fuck it. But yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the pre-show. But it was, what's the name of it, Till, if you don't mind? Beheneko, the elf girl's cat, is secretly an S-ranked monster. We both watched it, and a couple of us watched it in our Discord community as well. It was bad. It was bad. Probably one of the worst shows of its ilk I've ever seen in my life, to be fair. And it's early, but I don't see it getting any better. I have speculation that it can get better with world building, but I'm not going to disagree with Polow because I'm looking at the cover art now, and I'm realizing that this is just going to be a bunch of women with very large chest parts. Yeah, which I'm not opposed to. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Obviously, there's no opposition to that. But what I am saying is that, and I'm saying obvious, like people. Right. But what I am saying is that now looking at the cover, I am not sure if I'm going to expect any kind of story line or context here. Not at all. It's going to be full of pretty much nothing. I think it's going to be full of nothing. And I just don't think I'm going to waste my time on it. I don't think I'm going to continue to watch it. I don't even think it's going to get 3 from me because it's just that bad. Like, it was just ineffective at reeling me in, because what it is, and this is what I was going to say in the pre-show that I stopped myself and then we went over to recording. But what I determined, I'm like, okay, this is just a bunch of popular isekai things thrown into a blender, right? And they're trying to make it different by putting it all inside of a cat. Basically, it's slime, it's Arifureta, It's fucking, I mean, you name it. It's any kind of isekai you've ever seen ever thrown into this one episode. It's bad.
And the average score, mean score, it suits what we are saying.
What is it?
55 for the average score, 59 for the mean score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. Usually we don't agree with it, with any list's overall setting, but this time,
It's on point.
easy to say that this is on point. Yeah, it's actually crazy. All right. So,
that's the only thing that released this week.
That's the only thing that released this week. Yeah. The fall season, bro. How'd you feel? How you feel about it?
I'm not gonna say it was a letdown, but I feel like I was sadly underwhelmed. And I say underwhelmed because I know I went in with higher expectations, thinking that, oh man, this is gonna be great. Like every season this year has been hitting us with unexpected good things, unexpected. And then we get to this and it's like, yeah, bro, this is not the unexpected goodness I particularly wanted. And it's not to say that there was just an overwhelming amount of bad things in this season. It just wasn't enough to care about. Like I feel like we didn't legitimately have a heat week. And then once ReZero fell off, it was like, okay, we're here. There's good things to watch still, but we, like I said, we legitimately did not have a heat week. Nothing was in sync with its fire. Nothing was like good, like just we had a week of everything, or a majority of the anime we watched that week being good, which to me signifies the fact that this season just was not that overwhelmingly good.
Interesting concept, or interesting thought, because I agree with that. There was a time where both ReZero and Bleach hit that sweet point. But again, that was it. Like it was not any other time within this fall that I was like, oh, these 4 or 5 shows just killed it at all. Right. There was one time where Don blew us away. That was one time. Everything else was a complete and utter disaster for the most part. But going into it, let's do it like this. What was your... Actually, you know what? Let's share Discords.
Okay.
Fall wrap-up thoughts. So Crystal says, my thoughts on the fall is that I'm glad it's finally over. Just overall, it was flat, but had a very few shows that I truly enjoyed. Overall, it was flat, but it had very few shows that I truly enjoyed. Yeah. Everything else was either fine or just okay, or even horrific.
Right.
She says, bring on the winner. Yeah, that's a fact. J. Colt, one of our Patreon supporters, says, Don, Blue Box, and Orb kept me going, but man, really nothing outside of that. He said, shout out to the weekly Blue Lock depression, though.
Yeah, bro.
I saw that on his anime list. He said it as completed, which means he sat through that whole thing, which I am extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Impressed that the fact that you finished Blue Lock. That's the good stuff, J. Cole.
The anime.
And another Patreon producer says, all for one Matt says, I feel like as a group we powered through this season, and other than a few standouts like Blue Box, Sama Show, Notorious Talker this season was okay. I'm going to miss the weekly shit on Yakuza Fiance talks now, but all good things must come to an end, I guess. He says overall grade for an entire season is 6.5. He says, and he gave us his All That Matters, which we're going to do a little bit later. So I'm going to save that offer, all That Matters from All for One Matt shortly. But so now I'm going to ask you a question, and you have to answer it with no caveats or add-ons, okay?
Maybe.
What was your number one favorite show
this season
that's not returning? I surprised him with this, so he didn't know this was coming.
Man.
Number one.
The one I enjoyed the most. Goodness gracious, bro.
Now returning.
Not returning. It would have to be. Sheesh. Because there were some good ones. And.
I fucked them up with this one, yo.
Yeah, because it's not really. It's just that, like.
No caveats.
I want to see, right? And I'm just trying to see because I want to see like what. All right, so not returning. Goodness gracious, because none of that shit was good. All right. The show.
Number one show.
Fair, there's only one show that I tuned in every week, and I actually legit never talked about it. But
your number one favorite show.
Number one favorite show had to be probably Blue Box, bro.
Okay.
It was Blue Box.
You can get away with that one even though it's not finished yet.
I understand, but it was literally the only one that I feel like I was the most excited to watch every week.
Interesting.
Blue Box was good to me since the beginning. Other shows I had to get tuned into.
Yeah, my number one favorite show is You Are Ms.Servant.
Mm-hmm.
You Are Ms.Servant gave me everything I needed on a scale of, you know how sometimes you just don't want to play anything hectic, right? Or you just want to play something hectic. Like I saw you turn on Marvel Rivals earlier today. You wanted to get in and shoot some shit up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And today I feel like I wanted to play some slice of life. I was thinking about re-downloading Stardew Valley. Like that's just where I was as far as like that mode. And I know You Are Ms.Servant isn't the most popular this season, but what You Are Ms.Servant gave me was a comfort that I needed from this season. I got my sadness from Sama's show. I got my romance from Blue Box, but I wanted something that just was comforting.
Yeah.
And You Are Ms.Servant was that for me. It was consistently comforting. It looked beautiful. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch for me. So that was my number one favorite show, only because it satiated a hunger that I needed from this season that anything else didn't, or everything else didn't.
The thing is, You Are Ms.Servant is like easily, it can be picked, and I'm going to say this objectively, but obviously it's subjective. It's easily like top one this season.
Yeah.
And while the top one isn't always my favorite, I feel like it's very hard to put anything against You Are Ms.Servant.
Yeah. I mean, but according to a lot of people in our community, they don't feel the same way. So very subjective, I guess. There are a lot of shows I never finished, so that I do still plan on finish eventually. Shangri-La Frontier season 2 didn't even start it. I started. Huh?
I've been catching up. I watched like 8 episodes just recently, I think, and it's not interesting yet. Still, it's so sad. It's sad. He went to a whole new game, and it kind of got better in those 2 episodes, but then it's like,
what for?
This has nothing to do with the storyline that you need to progress to.
Yeah. Loner Life in Another World I've never finished.
I'm close to finishing that one. Almost done with Goodbye Dragon Life.
I didn't finish Goodbye Dragon Life. That's another one I do plan to finish. The Healer Who Was Banished. It was so bad, but I want to finish it. I want to finish it just to get it complete off my list. Which hopefully I can do this week.
The Healer who's banished is actually objectively bad, and I don't think you're going to want to finish it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't even have a good rap. It's so predictable.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Whatever you're thinking about the ending of it now, you're right.
Yeah, it is what it is. But overall, for me, man, my thoughts on this fall season, it's probably the most disappointing fall season I think we had since we started this podcast. And we've been doing it for 5 years. It's
wild. This will probably be the weakest season I feel like we've had at all.
Ever. Yeah.
Not just fall.
Yeah.
This is probably the weakest season I feel like we've had. Like And not to say that this is like it's changed how much fun the podcast has been. This season has been one of the harder ones to like kind of watch. But here's the thing: some of the stuff has been so good. Like I said, You Are Ms.Servant, Summer Show have been good enough to carry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like we said, graciously, we've had ReZero at the beginning of it. But there's like, for instance, a show that I had been watching was the Villainess Who Wants to Go Down in History. That's a show that I was personally watching, did not really bring the conversation pieces. It was like a what is it called? A guilty pleasure.
Okay.
It was like a guilty pleasure because it wasn't good. It wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination, but the character rivalry was good, and that's literally what I was there for.
Interesting. I would say I had a guilty pleasure too.
Yeah,
and that was Spirit Chronicles season 2. I enjoyed it so much, man. It's not good though, but I liked it. You know what I'm saying? I really, really did enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's bad though. It's bad. It's the good bad I like. At least we got some progression there.
Yeah, we got but we got so many options with this next season coming. Because I feel like also we didn't have as many possibilities on our list at the start of the fall.
No, we didn't. When you go back and think about the fall preview, we thought that, because a lot of people, the consensus was that there isn't anything to watch this fall. And funny enough, it's like, well, you never know, man. Every time we do that, every time we say that, there's a bunch of stuff that we end up adding to our list. To be fair, this is probably the shortest list I've ever had. But I totally forgot that Beastar's final season part 1 came out this fall. I didn't even touch it.
Yeah, I didn't even see it on the list.
It's there. But I mean, we did get the Most Notorious Talker. That's like my number 3 favorite show, to be fair.
Notorious Talker went crazy.
Yeah, it did. It was fantastic. But like, that was it, bro. It's so hard to even kind of.
The new stuff was hard to get into.
Yeah.
I will say the wrap of 365 Days to Wedding.
Love that.
That wrap was the most fulfilling part of the show, because I had a hard time with this show.
Did you really?
I did, bro. I did. I was very irritated with these characters. But also, it's just a personality type. It's a personality type.
Yeah.
But I was so happy with the rap because it's like they grew some fucking balls.
That's a well said. Well said.
They grew the resolve to just talk to each other and say exactly what they felt. And it was more like the last 2.5 episodes where that really was taking place. Mm-hmm. But man, that ending felt so fulfilling that I was like, okay, I can be okay with this now. Yeah,
this was a good comfort show for me too. It's exactly as All For One Matt said. It was like a 7.5. It was a decent show. Extremely decent. Nothing to write home about. Nothing to bring even the conversation to. But it was something that I watched that I'm glad I finished to have in my list of over what Annie list says is 780 something shows. But yeah. I know I got more.
I wish that last episode, that last 2.5 episodes was like episode 7, and then we really got an ending of like them being more assertive and understanding
and together and figuring out the relationships out of it all. Yeah, it was good, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Other than that, not great. Sleepers. This was the season that made history for us. We decided to drop a sleeper, which is unheard of for My Check Waifu. It never happens. It's not supposed to happen, and it shouldn't happen. But it was just way too hard to finish Yakuza Fiance. Like, way too hard. It always took me an hour to watch one episode of it because I always just paused it, walked away, did something else because I was just tired of dealing with the characters for longer than 3.5, 4 minutes. Like, I just could not stand dealing with them. I didn't want to, and more so particularly the male character, right? Like, the male character, yeah. The female character, she was perfect. She was fine. She was a great character. The problem is that the fact that she was just okay with everything. And then somebody mentioned, I forget who it was in our community, that mentioned there was no romantical progress anyway in Yakuza Fiance. So it was a complete waste of time. And with him saying that, though, I'm like, okay, but if it was any romancing progress within the show, I probably would have hated it even more, because then I would have hated the female character for even indulging in this motherfucker.
Right. Why are you even doing it when he's that trash of a human being?
Exactly. So it just, it's something else. It's something that I'm glad it's over, but I don't want to drop another sleeper ever again. I just couldn't. I'm not going to say never, because it's entirely possible that it could happen, but I couldn't do it this season. I just couldn't. And it's not like I had a lot to watch. I just didn't want to watch that shit. It was grating.
Yeah. I agree, and I have to say I'm very thankful that we did drop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with exactly what you said, because I was really trying to give it a chance, bro. And I don't think it's the worst sleeper we had, to be completely fair. No. I just think it was the hardest and most unbearable. You know what I mean?
The hardest to watch, period. Like, we had bad sleepers, but
that one card game one I had, that was trash, but we finished it.
We can still watch it though. Yeah. Like, I can still watch some of the bad sleepers we had. Like, even, what is it? Battle Game in 5 Seconds. It wasn't good, but I was interested in watching it. You know what I'm saying? I was able to sit through it. It didn't take me an hour to watch. It really did take me an hour to watch one episode of Yakuza. It was so fucking, just thinking about it just giving me agita, but
it's fair.
I'm kind of happy that fall is over, but I'm also extremely excited at the fact that we have 37 days until ReZero is back.
Man, that's still so long.
I know. It's a month.
But it's closer than we were a week ago. That's how we got to take it, bro. We got to take it a week at a time.
A week at a time, man. A week at a time.
Next week we'll give you an update on how many days you got until ReZero.
There is maybe a couple of shows coming out next week. So this is the time to take a look at y'all lists, maybe catch up on something if you haven't from this season or previous seasons to watch. I think that's a great time to do that. But let's get into the All That Matters, shall we?
Yes, do it.
I'm gonna start with All That Matters for me. My favorite female character was clearly Yuki from You Are Ms.Servant. She was the greatest, one of the greatest female character of this season, easily outside of returning, obviously, because Emilia actually popped off this season in ReZero, which was crazy enough. But I digress. Yuki was the best character. She was the most developed character to me, had the most growth potential still, and it was just a beautiful art style and a beautiful character design. I think You Are Ms.Servant, Miss Yuki is my favorite female character for All That Matters.
I have a consensus to go with here, because Yuki is clearly the best woman character we've gotten this entire season, and while she has had some noble competitors, and a Mother from Sama Show and whatnot, it's just hard to put anything against her, especially without going to something that's recurring, because she built up so much intrigue, so much story,
badassery,
so much emotion, so much development. She's kind of like a total package that you can get in 12 episodes.
Yes.
And that's wild to even think that the only thing we could possibly compare her to is going to be a recurring series. So I feel like we have to give it to her.
Yeah, easily.
And I'm not saying you have to, but for me, she's all that matters for the women characters.
Hey, well said. Go ahead and do Mel then. Do.
My best male character, my best guy character, what the ladies here will call husbandos, is going to be I think the only guy character we've watched this season who's actually been called a girl, and it's Noel Stollen.
Yeah.
Yo, bro is a demon, but he's also relatable. And I say that from early on, his friends betraying him, and he rocked with them. You know, he let them betray him, and he did his thing. but he shows that he has loyalty to people who are loyal to him. But he's also a down low, dirty dog. If you gotta get there,
a snake, if you will,
heavy. I love that character, and I almost think that there are anime that could have thrived off of having a character like him. That would have just made the entirety of the show better, because it's just like
Eminence and Shadow.
That duality. Yeah. But like Eminence and Shadow is good because of what Shadow is.
I guess.
I don't necessarily want Noel in Shadow's spot, but
how fire would that be though? Just thinking about it.
Bad. That's what I'm saying. Shoot. But yeah, Noel, he carried that show by himself for real. And it was like, it's not like he was surrounded by bad characters.
No.
But he did it by himself for real.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my best guy, best male.
Let's just call it a mic check waifu consensus then. It's Noel. It's Noel's. He was clearly, I mean, from like episode 4, he was the best character for the All That Matters segment. I think personally, it was easy.
Yeah.
Even though he also had some strict competition, because you had Taki from Blue Box. You had even the dad from Sama Show. Like there's a lot of great characters with development and intrigue, but the difference between them and Noel is that Noel was a unique character to anime. While obviously his shtick has been done before, it's rare that it's been done and done to this extent and this well. Executed well, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, it's easy to go back to All For One Matt, the coiner of this segment for All That Matters. He says his top male and female characters this season, of course, go to Noel and Yuki. That's a given. It's the general consensus within Mic Check Waifus community. Even though for the female, I was also thinking about, who would you guess I was thinking about? If you had to guess.
I guess you were thinking about?
It's easy for a female.
Easy?
And it's not Sama Show, to give you a better hint. Nah, I don't know, bro. Because if it's not Miss Yuki, I don't know who it could have been. Yae Amagami. Oh, the oldest sister and the Yamagami sister. She's incredible. Well, it's with that had that episode last week too. I was like, bro, it's so good. Just so good. It's so good. I wasn't expecting to. At first, we're gonna spoil Amagami sisters in the second half of the show because I got something to say about it. This is so crazy. Yeah, so we're gonna spoil that and we're gonna talk Bleach, the wrap up of Bleach there, and the spoiler half of the show. But yeah, dude, I got a lot to say about that. Well, not a lot, just some stuff. Anyway, moving on. All right, Tel, this is where we're going to give our overall rating of Fall before we go into our review of your sleeper, Demon Lord 2099. Overall rating, bro. Do you want to give a grade or a score? I mean, the rating and the grade is going to kind of even out to the same thing. Yeah. I'm going to give a number and it's kind of the grade regardless. It's true. Well said. The entire season. Oh yeah. Please do. I'm giving this season a 6. That's so funny. When we were talking about this. Why you say that so funny? Like, because when we were talking about it in my head, I said we could either go number or letter, right? I've already had a letter in my head. So I'll just do letter. And funny enough, when you said that, it was the same as my letter, which was a D. Yeah, bro. So the only thing that kept it a D was Blue Box, the returning shows, and then probably my top 4 or 4 shows that I've pretty much basically watched, and that's Blue Box, Amagami Sisters, Sama Show, and then the most notorious talker, and You Are My Servant. So 5, I guess. But yeah, that's really really it outside the returnings.
And I put the score at a 6 because I'm thinking about the shows I had to drop. That were just not exactly good. Right. The shows that were like okay as hell, okay as fuck, but like could not like put any higher than what they were, because there were some shows like Let This Grieving Soul Retire. It was not good, bro, but it was like it was good, but it wasn't good. You know what I mean? Like it was
the definition
of
mad decent.
It was okay to watch. It was okay to watch. Yeah, it was mad decent, but it was like that's it.
That's it.
It was like the bare minimum, scraping the bare minimum of what we can watch for being okay.
It was like on that threshold of being able to watch it, and I could do it.
Right, and I feel like if you have to drop shows, that puts that show at like an automatic 0.
Yeah. Yep.
So if I'm automatically putting like 13 or 14 shows at a 0, and there's like 2 or 3 shows that are like a 9 or so, and then the rest of the shows are like 7s and 5s. Come on, bro. I think a 6 might even be high. Not even trying to be mean, but this season a 6 might even be high.
The D I gave was strictly because of the fact that I had to drop a sleeper for the first time ever in the history of Mike Check Waifu Waifu. 5 years of doing this podcast, I had to drop a sleeper, and that's disgusting. I think that is egregious,
diabolical
to break one of the cardinal rules of the show, and I had to because I could not sit through it. It would have taken me days or weeks to fucking just watch 2 episodes. Like it was too much. It was too much. Like I would have taken 3 weeks to watch an episode and a half. Like I couldn't do it.
The issue is that you fell behind, and falling behind means that it's going to take you an hour to watch 1 episode. And if you fell behind, you got to watch 2.
Yep.
That's 2 hours, and that's
exactly
just
right. That's just too much. It's too much. But here we are. One of the worst seasons ever of all time in the history of our podcast, which is sad to say. I truly thought from the beginning, when we were previewing the season, I truly thought that we was going to have some haters. I really did. Right. But, I was wrong.
And we did, though. We did. Let's be real.
Yeah, no,
we did. I think Let This Grieving Soul Retire would if we were to review that one, would rate around like a 80, maybe a 7.8, something like that.
No, Let This Grieving Soul Retire?
No, not the Let This. I mean,
okay. I knew that was a mistake. I knew that was a mistake. Yeah,
like an 80 would be there. Sama Show. I think Sama Show would probably rate like a 9. The only thing that's holding that back really would be like animation, but it had its moments when it was peak. There's some shows that we could rate and they would have been high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, bro.
I'm just looking at everything I didn't finish. Goodbye Dragon Life, The Healer Banished, Loner Life.
Healer Banished was like a 4.
Yeah, like it's just so like I couldn't finish it. I just couldn't.
Goodbye Dragon Life. I turned on the background, tried to watch it. I literally had to go back 4 episodes.
The fact that it has a dub too, I'm like, why is the resources put dubbing that?
Oh, also, Polow, I know you saw it, but I had to come to Don Don's defense, which is wild.
Yeah. You had to hit him with a tell him for Don Don, which is strange. I forgot. I guess we ought to talk about that. One of the shows that carried the season for most people was Don Don. For us, not so much. I do think the rap was bad.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was.
The rap did not make me want to watch anymore.
Yeah,
and it didn't even feel like it was a justifiable or good rap. It didn't make me feel like there was anything to tune into, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, is this going to be a continuation? But
of course,
I don't know. There was no excitement instilled in me, and I feel like this is something I've said about other anime that were much worse, so to speak. But it's like this one is. What is Don Don doing?
I think the rap was distasteful.
Yeah, because
the rap was a clear show that, hey, there's going to be more, because it was obviously immediately after it was announced that it was going to continue the situation. But it was just it's a distasteful way of ending a series off for a season finale, unless you're doing multiple cores, which in this case you're theoretically are. We're just going from one course to the next. And if you're going to wrap the season, you could have done it properly instead of leaving this cliffhanger that just, I don't know, it didn't feel good. GG still sucks. The characters still suck. But what I did like though is I did like the semblance of romantical progress that didn't actually get anywhere.
Yeah. All right.
The symbolism of it was cool. Even though it didn't get nowhere.
It's really like they gave us a idea that this is going to get better and then said, okay, next season.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So hopefully next season is better. I'll watch it. It don't make me want to watch it, but I'll watch it. And I know that's, blasphemy in this community because y'all love the show. But you listen to us because we're different, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Right.
Anyway. All right, Tel. Let's move on to the review of your sleeper, Demon Lord 2099.
Review.
So for the uninitiated, if you aren't familiar with how our review works, we rate 5 categories using the 20-point scale. And the 20-point scale obviously being 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, etc. Those 5 categories consist of, I don't have it pulled up, but I can pull it up in our Discord right now. There it is. The 5 categories consist of pacing, which is episode to episode and how strong the story development was, plot, overall thoughts on the storytelling and the writing, etc. Animation, direction, scenery, art style, overall visual fidelity, sound design, the soundtrack, overall sound effects, and voice acting if you're into that. Characters, how much you like / grew attached to the characters, mains or sides. These are the 5 categories that we rate using the 20-point scale. And then what we do is we take the rating of each host's score, and we combine it together to give a Mic Check Waifu overall scale or score off that scale. It's still so confusing when I gotta say all that. This time we were reviewing Demon Lord 2099. Tel, what was your overall thoughts of Demon Lord 2099?
So my I guess my overall thoughts. I was gonna say initial thoughts.
I guess initial thoughts would be.
Initial thoughts was that I was super interested in what it was going to be, and how it may have turned out. Overall, though, with it wrapping, I am interested to see kind of like how things progress in a season 2. It is something that leaves you with this kind of like intrigue in their world and wanting to find out more, especially with kind of how things end up playing out and the little bit of information we did gather come to the end of this season. So overall, I would say, it's a bit of a surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
This is what my thoughts are, Tel, and forgive me for going on a slight tangent.
Go ahead, do your thing, brother.
You know what I think this show is going to end up being as far as this review is concerned? A gut check for this review, I guess. This is going to be one of those shows that maybe is not rated as high, but goes down as like one of my favorite watches.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed watching this show so fucking much. But when I take a step back and look at it in the lens of the Mic Check Waifu review scale and a review, I know it's not probably going to get that high of a score. Albeit watching it, I had so much fun with it. I had so much fun with all of it that I'm like, it's like, damn, I guess it's like a big damn at the fact that I know we're just probably going to be rated. I have a guess in my head of where it's going to land. But you know what it reminds me of?
What's that, bro?
Chivalry of a Failed Knight. One of our favorite watches of all time. And it's not rated high in our scale. Because it can be from this objective viewpoint. So, again, I enjoyed the hell out of this show. I absolutely love the characters. Spoiler alerts. And another thing that I like a lot about it was the music. I was vibing to the music, even though it was like very different from any normal anime music that you hear. It was kind of edge runnery, and I liked it. The music, that is.
The music that is. I feel you.
It's an interesting show. I am very much intrigued at what's the continuation is going to look like. If it gets a continuation, I really hope it do, because I want to see more of it. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. One of my favorite sleepers you've ever had.
Really?
Honestly. truly one of my favorite sleepers you've given.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it suits our personalities and what we like to watch.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, there's a lot of different things that come into play with why it can't be rated better.
Yeah. Without further ado, let's do further tell. What would you give the animation for Demon Lord 2099?
So I think the animation was, at some points, it had some high points that were relatively decent.
Yeah.
But then it also has some inconsistencies that just didn't necessarily sit well with me. Specifically that mech fight. I thought that was the worst animated fight in the series. And then you had the hero versus the like samurai chick, where they had some not so good impact frames and stuff going on there. But there were other moments that were really good, like that first animated moment when they first did the very first episode. The quality in the imagery there was good, but it was also like a cut, like a what is it, jittery framing. I'm not trying to make this sound bad, like I hated the animation or something like that. I give the animation an 8 because I do think it's above average, but I don't think it's amazing.
What the fuck what was that? What was that entire story that you just get? I'm so confused. An 8?
Yeah.
The contradictory within that score and everything you just said is baffling to me.
Because it had moments that were visually great, and then there were moments that were like, okay, I don't really care for this. You
named 2 moments that was great. You named 5 moments that was bad. You said it lacked consistency. Everything you said, and 80%. I said
specific moments. I said moments where it was inconsistent, brother.
Okay, all right. Hey, yeah. The fight between the sword lady and what's his name, the hero, was fantastic. I enjoyed it. The jittery part that you're talking about was a decision. I enjoyed it. However, the consistency was so off, so bad that I could not stand for it, and it just pissed me off because of that. I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
And the reason why I got a 7 was because of those good parts that they stood out enough to make me remember it. But if it didn't have those 2 high points, I would have probably gave it like a 6, because of the simple fact is there was a moment too that pissed me off. When they were walking, when they were all students and they were all walking, and then the walking was just this, and there was nothing in the background, but it wasn't going anywhere. It was awful. Yeah. So that was a moment that could have turned out to be real bad. But yeah, I gave it a 7 only because of those standout moments. It was very standoutish, and they helped me remember it. But the consistency was so bad, though. It was so bad. It lacked any consistency, because one moment, like the fight between him and that other elf dude, was cool, even though they didn't move. But then you got the fight between him and Metia. It was like where did the budget go? And then some scenes where it come back and it would be like, oh, there's the budget. It went right here for this particular frame, and then it went away again. It was just too inconsistent. So yeah.
You could see the smoothing of textures, that kind of stuff.
Weird, bro. Yeah, it was very weird.
Then the detail coming back, and it was like, why would you? Like, people aren't going to notice. You didn't think we were going to notice that?
Moving on.
All right, I think I'm gonna give it a 7.5, bro. I think
drop it 7.5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still baffled, but I get
don't come at me like that.
I get it.
Not on camera, bro.
I get it. Sound design. This was one of my favorite pieces, because there's another piece that I liked a little bit more than sound design. But the music, I felt myself bobbing my head and hitting like my shoulders would be bouncing a little bit. Like, okay, I like this background music, and I would just be vibing out to it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the intro. Again, I enjoyed the environmental music transitions and stuff like that. The voice acting to me was so well done. I think from a non-native Japanese speaker, obviously. I like the voices that came from the actors themselves. I did not hear the dubbed, and I know there is a dub, I think. So I'm kind of upset for not being able to have that comparison. But the sound design for me was an 8.5. I enjoyed it, the music, so much that it could have been higher if the intro was a little bit better. But outside of that, the environmental music and the transition music was cool. And then the voice acting was, I thought it was standoutish for a non-Japanese speaker. Whatever his name was. It was so cool. I like the way you said it every time you said his name.
So I have to agree with a lot of what Polow said for the sound design. Brother. The issue I did have with it was sometimes I found myself not paying attention to the sound. But when I there were moments where it was like the sound just worked so organically with the context that we were given in the show that it was hard to ignore. It was like, man, this sounds good with what's going on. This looks good. Like, they give us, like, I guess you could almost say like aura shots when they were showing like some of the landscape and whatnot, and then playing that with the sound. Yeah, it was perfect, bro. And they did a good job at switching the sound, even for like the second half, right?
Yeah, that transition.
Because in that second half, it was essentially almost an entirely different environment. Not so, it was still tech oriented, but not super tech oriented. So the music even kind of had a light switch towards that. So I agree on how good the sound design was, and the voice acting also was solid. Makino is my favorite voice, but
yeah, she was fire.
I am going to give the sound design an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that was some of the best part. All right, Tell, you get to start off with pacing. How did you feel about the pacing of?
I did not like the pacing of this show. And I feel like this also goes with the plot. So we'll see when we get there. But the pacing of this show, there was that one when we had the transition to like this second half, right? And figuring things out. It happened so fast. And even this second half of it wasn't technically half of it. It was like what, a quarter of it, maybe?
Yep, maybe.
All of that happened so quickly. And the relationship with the characters there was built so quickly. Like, and I'm not even saying that because I enjoyed the characters that we met. You know what I mean? Not to take anything away from the characters, but everything just kind of transitioned and happened so fast that while it seems contextually that it happened organically, for me, it did not happen organically. So, and Polow probably gonna think this is crazy too. My pacing, I gave it 6.5.
Okay. No, I don't think that's crazy at all. Yeah, it was a quite strange. Everybody knows the moment we're talking about, right? It was after he fought essentially the final boss of the first half. It was essentially the turning point of the show. But I agree that it was so abrupt. Albeit, now this is the little subjective part of me coming out. I liked it. I felt like it didn't waste my time when it came to just continuing.
I'm not disagreeing there.
So, however, when you think of that objectively, the pacing was fucking off. It was just so abrupt. Well, a whole culture shift literally within the show and within what we saw. It just felt weird. It felt off. It didn't feel right. So for me, I think a 7. I think it was because I liked it. I gave it a 7. But was it good? No, it wasn't a good pacing at all. Yeah, no, I think 6.5 may be a perfect score for it, but I'm letting my bias speak for my enjoyment of it continues to not waste my time. Mm-hmm. what I always say, time is the most important currency to me. And because it didn't, and it could have, I enjoyed it a little bit more.
Understandable.
All right, I'm gonna start with plot. Now this is where me and Tell always have some conflictions when it comes to how we particularly rate this category. And both of us, I feel like, are right in our sentiments on how we feel about this, because Tell seems to associate the pacing with the plot as well, which is entirely reasonable. Like it always made so much sense as to what he said, but I always viewed it different. I always disassociated the plot from the pacing. But with the plot being as abrupt as it was, it's kind of hard to do that. So it makes the plot a little bit strange because of that abruptness in that plot or in that pacing. So hear me out. There was a moment after he beats the what you call
First
it,
big bad.
the first big bad, or you want to call him the proverbial final boss. He
Marcus.
beats it, and it moves forward to a whole different arc. But within that Marcus arc, we got some crazy plot details that were like mafia killing one of these guys. Now, is it the same team as the people that was associated with the second half of the plot? We don't fucking know, because that was a plot detail completely missed within that because of that pacing that was pushed forward so damn quickly. We don't have any idea if these people are associated with each other or not. But it was just so much intrigue at the beginning of that first half that was so good. And then because of that pacing shift, it completely goes away, that it all felt so discombobulated that I was confused. I was utterly confused at how they completely dropped the ball with such strong and interesting and mysterious plot at the beginning of that first half to go into something completely different that seemingly have no association with each other, that it felt wrong. So for me, this is the worst part of the show, was the plot. Even though the story within it was good, the plot of it the pacing kind of fucked up the plot, which is, I'm on the same side as Tell this time when it comes to associating the pacing with the plot, that it just fucked the plot entirely up because of the pacing. So for me, I gave it a 6. Even though I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the story of it. Yeah,
and enjoying the story is a personal preference. You know what I mean? That's a subjective thing.
Yes.
But objectively, this plot is jumbled up and garbled up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of plot holes.
And like you said, there was so much intrigue here. I would have loved to have found out what happened to Takahashi's like intel dude.
Yeah.
Like what exactly happened? Like just give us some more details.
What are these robots that are supposedly super advanced? Where do they come from? Whose are they?
Is that what we're supposed to be assuming is happening in part 2 of this first season? We have no clue, because there's no. And here's the thing: the initial plot thread that they gave us for this was that we need to find the immortals, and that's the most consistent thing. But then they dropped all these other plot points that like almost seemingly connect to that. Yeah. That we're gonna do all of this to find the immortals, and it's like, nope. You find maybe one. And
even you saying that the immortals, the through line, it kind of even wasn't at first, because at first it was all about him adjusting to the life of this new future. So it was like one dropped in later. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But like he was still like he was trying to find Marcus. I want to need you to join my group. Hey, I need you to come back and join my group. Oh, I found out that you're incinerating all my people.
Yeah.
All right, now I gotta, you know what I mean? It's not my favorite part. So just like the pacing, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like,
not to say I didn't enjoy it though, because I do enjoy what I watched. You know what I mean? I enjoyed what I watched.
Exactly. And Tell, if you don't mind, starting off with the characters.
Characters were my favorite part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the characters were easily likable. Even some of the bad guys that we got in that second part, I was kind of like intrigued by them just by their existence alone. Like I just wanted more of them.
I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but I was surprised, to say the least, by who ended up being.
Yeah, but even then, it wasn't even that person. Technically, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was just like,
no, yeah, of course, very
intrigued by a lot of it, and even like Kizuki and her little scenario going on. Yeah, they gave her, and this is what I was talking about with like how the pacing and everything was done. They gave her so much development so quickly.
It was,
but it was like good for her. You know what I mean? Like, would I have liked to see that development stretched out a little bit more? Yes, but it was good for giving it to us in the amount of time that they had allotted for it. To even make us like enjoy and like the character. I found it hard to dislike some of these characters, and to be fair, the character I probably disliked the least was like Marcus, who was supposed to be disliked. I would have liked to have gotten more Kinohara, and Velto just necessarily wasn't my Velto and Graham were like iffy for me, but I think the characters in general were like a 9 out of 10. Like everybody had some likable aspects to them, like everybody, even like Corny Seber, the golem, the little goblin dude. Every character was enjoyable in some context. So yeah, I gave him a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel the same, like in every way that you mentioned. I love the characters. I love Veto. I love Graham. I love them both. When they came together, it was incredible. I loved the way Veto's, he was the demon lord, yes, but he was not the demon lord of a normal anime, right? Like he has compassion, and
his reasoning.
His reasoning was all just so spectacular. You talking about how Hizuki's plot was gave to us fast. It was still well done, and I grew attached. To her. I loved her. I still love her. Makina, obviously, she's the GOAT. And then what's her the other girl, the hacker girl? She was neat too. She gelled in. She was that perfect kind of balance between the two of these immortals who are experienced with time, and she's not. She's coming in from the outside looking in, and that was basically, she was us. And I thought that she was a fire character because of it. I like the fact that we did get a really good bad and really good evil people within the show that was extremely interesting. It was great. I gave the characters an 8.5. I'm just, 9 is hard for me to give, because when I think of 9, I always go back to other character shows that I like bottom tier character who I know I gave a 9 or above. I love those characters more. That a 9 is a threshold that I kind of coveted extremely high, but an 8.5 is top mad decent for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number one mad decent type deal. Like it's above middling, so it's you know what I'm saying? And it's the top of the middling chain, I love it. Yeah. All right, Tel. With the scores.
I think we might have gave it the same score.
Close. I gave animation a 7. Tel gave it a 7. Animation 7.5. Sound design, I gave it an 8.5. Tel gave it 8. Pacing, I gave a 7. Tel gave a 6.5. Characters, I gave an 8.5. Tel gave a 9. My overall score, 7.4. Tel overall score, 7.5, which brings the Mic Check Waifu official review score to 7.45. Interesting.
Hold up. What? Hold up. Give me 1 second here, brother. I'm at a
very, very, very interesting. It was a very close. I mean, it would have been the exact same score if I would have gave the characters a 9 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of your 7.5 and my 6, and then your 6.5 and my 8.5 is virtually the same score, just in different categories, which is very interesting to see. Remember, guys, you can always take part of these reviews. There is a review skill for your use in our Discord, discord.miccheckwaifuwaifu.com. That has a link that you can make a copy of, and then you can use the review skill the same way we do, and it'll average it all out for you. So make sure you check that out. It's in our Discord. It's it's MCWW review skill for your use in our forums. So just search that up. I wish you could pin multiple forum threads, but they doesn't seem to let you. I might actually create a channel and just drop that in. Yeah, I'll do that to just make it easier for people to get access to it.
Have we ever had a score that close?
Yeah, plenty of times where it was just different beliefs in like the pacing and the plot, where that'll be the only thing that's like lopsided or flipped. Yeah. But we kind of always have relatively close scores like this. Funny enough, it's just different categories. All right. That's that, man. Let's get to know Mic Check Waifu. Oh, wait, no, we got to figure out where this lands in our review score list.
7.45.
7.45. You got it pulled up?
I do.
Talk to me.
Yeah. So we got number 37 with a 6.4 with 91 days. Then 36 is Alderamen on the Sky with a 6.8. Number 35 is Banana Fish with a 7.3. Number 34 is Love Flops with a 7.45.
With Love Flops.
So should we let's put it at 34. We're gonna take Love Flops spot.
Okay. And then where's Chivalry of a Failed Knight?
Chivalry of a Failed Knight is number 28 with the 7.95.
That's exactly where. Okay. Nope. I'm okay with this score then. Because while I love Demon Lord 2099 and I enjoy watching every bit of it, I do think it's not at the tier that I enjoyed Chivalry of a Failed Knight, but it's also not completely garbage. So where Love Flops is, it's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
I think. Don't you think?
Yeah, it has a good fit there. I think it works there. Because
what else is around it? Go up a couple. Go up to 26.
26 is Invincible.
And then let's go. Wow.
8.45. So as soon as we finish Chivalry of a Failed Knight, everything is like almost an 8.5 after that.
Interesting.
8.5 or higher, basically.
Okay. That's interesting. We should. I'm gonna also add a different channel in our Discord that's just going to have that list too. I think that's a good idea as well.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, it's going to be a part of the same one. The review skill for your use thread. Actually, this is perfect. It's perfect. Okay. Let's get to know Mic Check Waifu. What a fun review that was, though.
Yeah, bro.
It's
you know the random number generator this time.
Yeah. I actually remember this time.
Number 29. Which anime character do you relate to the most?
Hachiman from My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. Not with the romantical choices, but his feeling of life and school and the way he approached it. Not that I did the same thing, but I relate to why he did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oddly enough, I would have to basically say the same thing, but for the romantical reasons.
Okay, yeah.
Not the only thing, but yeah, bro. He has the closest mindset to me, I would feel. Because some things I just don't understand why people have those certain problems. And it's like, how do you have those problems? But also, like, how do you not have those problems? How do you not try and solve those problems? So yeah, Hachiman.
Yeah,
I agree. I have to agree.
When we take this quick break, we're going to come back to spoiling Amagami Sisters and the wrap of Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood Word Arc. We'll be right back after these.
Hoje aqui no baile, o bonde veio assim, taradão e bolado pra tacar o piru aí. Vou te pegar vodka pra bu, explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou te pegar vodka pra bu, explodir teu negócio tudinho. Desce, sobe, no baile, desce, sobe, no baile do Elipa, desce, sobe, no baile, desce, sobe, no baile.
Você quer pra mim, você quer pra mim. Paga pra mim.
Hoje aqui no baile, o bonde veio assim, taradão e bolado pra tacar o piru aí. Vou te pegar vodka pra bu, explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou te pegar vodka pra bu, explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou explodir teu negócio tudinho. Vou explodir teu negócio tudinho.
And welcome back to episode 283 of Mic Check Waifu. We are going to spoil Amagami Sisters, and we're going to spoil Bleach, the finale of Thousand Year Blow Arc, which was 2 episodes. Did you watch both episodes? Maybe only one of the halves.
Hold up. I you know what though? I definitely don't think I watched. No, I did.
Both of them?
The last one was the last words, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No. Yes.
Hold on, what are you saying, bro? Yes, the last words is the last one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All
I was
right.
confused too.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna spoil those two. Start off with Amagami Sisters.
Yeah.
Yae Amagami is the best girl in that entire show.
Easily.
So it's kind of hard for me to want anybody else to even be a part of this anymore. Because her character, who she is, the way she acts, even her gusto now that she just acquired from figuring out who he is and who she is and all that stuff was just fantastic, man. I don't see anybody else being able to fit better than her.
Yeah. And that's a legitimate issue, right? Because going forward, how do we even continue this show caring about the other two?
Exactly.
They gave us so much good story with her in that like 2.5 episode span, which that seems to be like the perfect time slot.
Yeah.
That it makes her the main girl.
Yeah.
But she's also, they've given kind of like signs towards that though. since the beginning, with like her initially falling in the beginning and everything too. But is that going to be the case specifically still? Like, do you think that the intention was to make her the main girl, or was it to be like, is it still going to be the three of them? Like, is it, because it's hard, bro.
Yeah, because it's probably going to be the three of them, but it's hard to care about the other two. Like, the other two, I feel like, are now obstacles.
Yeah, 100%.
And that is not a good feeling. And I never felt that way, even though the point of the other girls in Quintessential Quintuplets was to be obstacles.
Right.
I never feel like this that I do with these two, which didn't happen before.
Out of the script, basically.
Exactly. Like 3-4 episodes ago, I didn't feel this way. I felt like him having all three of them, which was what they were indicating almost throughout the entire show, was cool. I thought, like, oh, okay, that's neat. It's nice for him to be close to them. And I was thinking it's probably going to be like a family thing, not necessarily the whole marriage thing. But I was cool with that. But now I want him to just marry Yai and everybody else just get the fucking way.
Yeah.
But it is neat to also seeing them gradually realize their feelings for him too. At least the youngest. She's still trying to figure that out in general. Like, she doesn't even know what she's feeling. Yeah,
and I feel like the beauty in the show is, like you said, it's kind of that family aspect. And I think that what they kind of continuously do is show us, like, for instance, he had that family unit where he was from and everything like that, and what he was working towards and how he's getting to where he is now. But he still puts them at the top. But he keeps having these, like, somewhat supernatural experiences that's pushing him towards this family and them and whatnot. You know what I mean? What I think they kind of wrote themselves into a corner, though.
Interesting.
And it's specifically with those girls, but it's the like
two?
they have to either write the story in a way that, and I hate to say it, where he met them as well, or he knows them also somehow.
Because ain't nobody else gonna amount to.
Yeah, because that's crazy. And even like her friend, like they did her in a way that made the relationship with her specifically seem heavily important. So much emphasis that it was about taking care of her. And where I kind of see this story going is that she's not going to end up, he and her are not going to end up at this shrine because she is a free spirit, and they're going to end up together and they're not going to want to stay at the shrine. Or he's going to marry someone else so that she can continue to be a free spirit away from the shrine. And that's just kind of how it almost feels like, because of how, you know, the history in the past and stuff that they showed us, she can't be the one to stay at the shrine. She can't be.
Well, they already established that about 4 episodes ago that she's okay with staying at the shrine when they were met with the teacher. So I think the shrine part is, I think the shrine part is the importance of, yeah, she's a free spirit, and that free spirit is her wanting to be a shrine maiden instead of anything else.
Right.
And in lieu of her making this decision on her own, I think that was kind of like progressed extremely well. I think that, God, it's so hard to even think about the other two even now, but I do think the other two don't stand a chance, and I don't want them to even stand a chance. Is that crazy? Is that sad? Yeah. Okay. Because I feel like I was wrong for feeling that way. But maybe not. You know, maybe it's just, God. And I know how the show's gonna go, man. They're gonna all end up just being family, and by family, he's gonna be adopted into their family in some way. I don't see it being romantical. Do you?
It has to be.
It has to be, right?
It has to be because of their either feelings for him already or what they're going to be. And I think, and hear me out, I think, what's her name? Yuna, the redhead sister.
Ugh.
I think she's going to fall for him the hardest.
She's my least favorite.
Obviously, right? And it's like, ugh.
I know.
But it's like, I feel like she's going to be the one to fall for him the hardest. But just go with Yai now. Mm-hmm. You just leave. Just run away. Just let's be done with it and let's call it what it is now. Let's call a spade and keep it moving, bro.
Well said, man. Well said. I couldn't have said it better. I don't feel like it's anybody else's right. I just don't.
Yeah, bro.
It's just so much good shit with Yai that.
But you know what it is though? Imagine writing a short part of a story so well that like now you just don't care about anything else. That's what they did. They wrote that in extremely too well.
Damn, that pen was on fire. It had
to be, right? Because everything led to this point and it made things previously make sense.
This should have been last. This should have been last. It should have been the other two girls first. Gave their arcs.
It's a dub. It's a wrap, bro. Just go ahead and call it what it is. I don't want nothing else. This is like those movies we watch and review. You can't watch one before the other. Nah, I don't care. I don't care.
Do you think, hear me out. Do you think there's a possibility that the other two can be written just as good? Is it a chance?
I think they can be. The issue is that like
you don't want it to be.
It's not even that. The issue is that, and here's what I'm saying. This is why I mentioned the movie. Is that even if it is written as well,
it's gonna be hard to.
Now we have more experience with Yai in this position. You know what I mean?
Because she was first.
She was first, so it can't be written as well. It has to be written better for it to even be competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the LeBron and Jordan conversation. LeBron can't just be a little bit better. He has to be way better for him to be in that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say that he shouldn't be. I'm just saying that that's kind of what we got to do. For Yuna and Asi to even be in this conversation, they had to be written better. Not as well. Better.
That's a strong point, Telliano. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, no, you're right. I couldn't agree more. I think you're right about Yuna. I think they're going to make her be the one that falls the hardest and be the more aggressive one, like how it was in Quintessential, right? When what's her? I can't remember her name. The one with the hair bows. She was always hated the tutor guy. She always hated him, and then to that one turning point episode where it snapped, and when it snapped, she was the most aggressive. She was, I'm going for it. I want you. I need you. I want to be with you, and hopefully it does turn out that way and he still decides to go with Yai.
Yeah.
Because he if you haven't watched Quintessential, I'm not going to spoil Quintessential Quintuplets, but let's just say he made a different choice. So I'm hoping that it's like that. Or can they write it so well that the three get married and it works? The polygamy route? Yeah, that's possible too.
It's a possibility, but I feel like it can't. It has to be one or family. Is what I'm feeling.
Same.
What I'm feeling.
Same.
I don't personally mind any way that it go. I'm just saying the way it's written right now. It's one or family.
Yep, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's so. We get it back in 15 days from the time we're recording this. I wish we didn't have that break.
You know how I feel. I also agree.
Yeah.
I don't need a break. Just go ahead and give it to me.
Not this one. Well, we got 24 of this one? 22?
24, yeah. So
24.
Next episode will be episode 14 in 15 days, 8 hours and 24 minutes.
Okay. So we basically at the halfway point.
January 14th.
Oh. All right, moving on. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. It's past
I'm going to have like 30 some anime to watch at that point.
I know, right? Moving on to Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War arc. The end of this arc. What'd you think about it?
predictable.
Yeah. I mean, we said from the beginning what it was going to be, and it was exactly that. It was predictable.
But beautiful. What Bleach always does, though, is they show up and show out, man.
Yodorichi is the greatest of all time.
Easily.
Jesus Christ.
And was that her little brother?
Mm-hmm. Dog.
I'm telling you. It must be in the blood or something, but yes. Yeah, bro. So really the only thing I have to say is really about the second episode in personal context, but in totality, all of this 1,000-Year Blood War arc, it's been straight hands the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Straight
action, which I know a lot of people are going to love that. And I'm not saying, I know this is going to come across as kind of negative. I kind of would have been okay with more story. But I know people, they come to Bleach for the hands. They come to Bleach for the action. I would have loved more story beats, though. More contextual, like, development into that. And I know this might even sound crazy, but what was it? Friend, episode 12? Where they were going into the backstory with the dude who's right under you watch, Ishida, and the fire finger dude. Bumble. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that story beat that they got in that moment, and with the context we got there.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and I'm not saying, because they couldn't have really done that for everybody, you know what I mean? That wouldn't have been good. It would have been horrible if they did that specifically for like all these characters. But I really like how they develop their story when they do it. And then the way they jump right back into the action was great. So it's like, man, I wish that there was a reason almost to give us some more story with this, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was a lot of while I appreciate that this is the arc where the squad captains come together and fight these different obstacles, I just felt like it was too much of that. And I feel like it was a bunch of unbeatableness that happens to get beaten in ways that are unceremoniously just kind of, again, predictable. Like even with what happened this episode, how you got the baddest basically with Renji and Rukia's brother, and them all fighting the big dude, the Valkyrie dude. And of course they beat his ass, but then he has this magical power that where the damage he takes makes him bigger and stronger. Like what? Now how do you beat him because you can't damage him? But oh wait, there's going to be some way. There's going to be some bankais used. I just feel like throwing story in between that is hard to digest.
Yeah.
But throwing story in between Uryu and Ichigo's conversation to clarify his reasoning behind it, which again we knew was going to happen, and still don't believe it should have happened that way. Like Uryu still should have been with Ichigo, and he probably would have been stronger and been capable of doing what he needed to do, because it kind of didn't amount to shit anyway, because you're not fighting Yawak, you're fighting his second in command. I don't know. I feel like it was too Bleach.
Yeah.
In a way that wasn't satisfying, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the backstory I meant wasn't Uryu. It was Drugrum, Hashwoth, and Baz B.
Yeah.
But either way, like, I agree. It's very hard to weave in story beats and story plot with the way that they carry the action. You know what I mean? Because even what they did give us with Uryu's actual backstory and information, like going forward, that was interwoven in well.
Yeah.
But if it had gone on any longer, it would almost felt like trash. You know what I mean? So it is hard to do that. And then you have Kuchiki show up. That's Rukia's older brother, right? Yeah. You have Byakuya show up, and they do exactly what we said they do. They make someone so powerful to defeat someone so powerful just for that super powerful person just to be undefeatable. And that is getting out of hand.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's too much Bleach, because that's what Bleach is, right? That's the formula of Bleach. It's always been that way, but it's always been done in that way, in such a well done way, that now that it's being done over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, especially with Byakuya, because we know that he trained with the Squad Zero team up there with Renji. It just all fell flat, you know?
Because we know he's going to be tougher.
Exactly. So it fell flat. It would have been better if they didn't interweave Uryu's story, because we already knew what that was essentially, and just gave us the Byakuya and those other squad captains fight with the giant, and just let that be the entire thing. You know what I'm saying? But I get that they want to kind of give you some semblance of what's going on at the same time as all this is happening. So it's hard for them. However, it does look good, man. Like animation wise, Period.
Yeah, bro.
If this is what Period is capable of, when they get time, just give them fucking time. Don't make them do no more Black Clovers or.
But we knew that.
Boruto. No, we didn't. We never got a chance to know that.
I mean, we've seen high level Period animation. You know what I mean?
No, we didn't. We see movies done by somebody else.
They didn't animate Naruto fight scenes?
I mean, I guess. Did they though? I thought it was Bones. No,
okay. I mean, I'm asking though, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'm saying I thought they did animate some of Naruto's fight scenes, and then they did the remake of the movie scenes in Boruto, which were also really good. But we also know that those were some of the highest budgeted episodes. Those episodes are hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They did do Period. You know I mean? They did do Naruto, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like even like the best animated scenes in Boruto, if you look at the budget for those specific episodes, they were like almost double the budget for lesser episodes. So we know that if they got the budget to do it, and Bleach is a show, they're gonna have the budget for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the color scheme of Bleach allows for just such a dynamic look.
I don't think it was necessarily the budget. I think it was just time. I think given time, they're able to do more. You know. Because when they don't have time, it obviously looks like what Boruto is TV show wise. So give them time. And I think they got time with Naruto too, because all them damn fillers they put in that motherfucker. So, I digress when I say it's just give them fucking time to cook, and it's going to look fantastic. And it did. It absolutely looked beautiful. I'm not disappointed in this season. I absolutely loved it. Again, top tier soundtrack, top tier action. I just wish it would progress a little bit faster.
Yeah, because like what happened at the beginning of the season, we were talking about the dude with the paintbrush and his whole Squad Zero getting body bagged.
Yeah, that was cool.
And it literally sped through. You know what I mean? Everything happened so quickly.
Yeah. But I'm at Polow Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
You can follow our social media at Mic Check Waifu bluesky.social, and at Mic Check Waifu Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, Mic Check.
Oh God.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?